Squid nurseries can be huge. Fertilizing and laying eggs is a group activity. Whales eat them, but the giant squid puts up a good fight. Squids change color and pattern in a flash, to hide and to talk to other squids. Squids, octopi, and cuttlefish are called cephalopods, which means head-foot animals. Who eats the squid? Dolphins, orca whales, sea lions, and humans, among others. Mosquitoes, including their larvae, are food for other insects, and for frogs, toads, lizards, birds, and bats. A single locust or a single termite doesn't look like much trouble, but in the thousands, watch out. From the nymph stage to adulthood, mosquitoes have good reason to dread dragonflies. Disease and infection. Besides the mosquito, blame the flesh fly and the cockroach, but remember, they also dispose of waste. The Anopheles mosquito can carry dangerous protozoa from person to person. Many pesticides wipe out all insects, including these beneficial ones. The badger, a relative of the wolverine, has a reputation as a bad-tempered animal. But most, like the Old World badger, are quite gentle. The wolverine, the weasel, and the Tasmanian devil. Fierce hunters and remarkably strong, these small creatures scare off many a larger one. A wolverine will even fight these powerful predators for a kill. Wolverines aren't fussy eaters. They don't even care if their food is dead or alive. They're not related, but the wolf and the wolverine have much in common, like being hunted almost to extinction in many parts of the world.
You'll probably never see a wolverine. They're very rare. But just because they're small doesn't mean they're wimpy. Pound for pound, a wolverine is one of the toughest creatures on the planet. Yes, if one wants your lunch, well, hand it over.
Crabs are mostly scavengers, so while you're on the beach, keep moving. If you lie still for too long, a crab may think you're dead and come up to take a bite.
The king ragworm breathes through things that look like legs. Some of these worms grow almost a meter long. Does this crab look like a pie crust to you? Well, it should, because that's how it got its name. A discarded shell is home to a hermit crab and his guest, the ragworm. A male fiddler crab uses his big fiddling claw to protect his territory on the beach. The crayfish, related to the crab and the lobster, can live only in clean rivers and lakes. It may be called a velvet crab, but it's a fierce hunter. Because of its soft body, the hermit crab has to borrow a discarded shell for protection.
Trying to get rid of cockroaches? Store all your food in sealed containers. Or do what I do and keep a big lizard around to eat the darn things.
A cave full of dung? Cockroach heaven. Many insects have antennae on their heads to help them locate food and other animals. Roaches can be helpful too. They eat garbage. Cockroaches were around before dinosaurs, but they're not the only old-timers. A cockroach is an insect, but is an ant? What about a spider? Cockroaches are an important source of food for many birds, reptiles, and other insects. A cockroach may look like a beetle, but it's not. It doesn't have a beetle's hard wing cases.
All rodents have vicious teeth. Never try to pick up a wild rat. For that matter, don't squeeze or tease a tame one. My brother's pet mouse latched onto my finger once and I thought I'd never get it off.
The rat patrol. Snakes, frogs, and owls keep the rat population down. To make life better for humans, rats have donated more than just time to medical research. Rats can live almost anywhere and will do anything to travel to new places. Rats are clean little animals. It's the fleas they carry that transmit disease. Rats can live almost anywhere and will do anything to travel to new places. Many rodents have similar tracks, but the rat leaves a sweaty trail. Why do rodents constantly gnaw and chew? They have a very good reason. A female rodent may spend her entire life having and raising babies, as many as 70 per year.
Don't squeeze a salamander, or it may squirt venom at you. Actually, don't squeeze any animal. You wouldn't let them squeeze you, would you? Of course you wouldn't.
The California newt, the tiger salamander, and the mandarin salamander? Danger ahead. See those lumps behind the salamander's eyes? They ooze venom. Whether born live or hatched from eggs, baby salamanders look nothing like their parents. What kind of feet does a salamander have? It depends on how it lives. Newts come in an assortment of colors and patterns.
Adders sleep under rocks and in crevices instead of digging holes, so keep your fingers out of rock crevices or you may get a scary surprise.
Travel to the African desert and you may meet another adder, if it's not hiding in the sand. Do snakes speak with a forked tongue? No, they smell and taste with it. The name is scary for good reason, but luckily the death adder is not aggressive. These snakes can sense body heat with special pits on their heads. They're related to the European adder, but are deadlier.
If you're camping out in scorpion country, shake your shoes out when you get up in the morning. I once put my foot into my boot without looking, and I got a nasty sting. However, at least I survived the experience, yes. The scorpion did not.
The male and female scorpion have a special mating dance. When babies arrive, she carries them on her back. All scorpions sting, but only a few have venom that could be deadly. The scorpion carries a unique set of power tools. The sun goes down, and out come the scorpions. All insects, spiders, and other scorpions better watch out.
If you find yourself constantly surrounded by vultures, you ought to consider taking up an exercise program. You're obviously moving so slowly that they think you're dead.
They may not be pretty, but vultures are pretty impressive. You don't miss having feathers on your head if you have to stick it in a carcass to eat, like many vultures do. Small planes? No, giant birds. The Andean condor and the California condor are the biggest vultures in the world. Although vultures prefer food that is already dead, many will also dine on rodents and baby birds. Did you know that a few animals use tools, just as people do? gliding on a rising column of warm air, soaring far above the earth. Oh, for the life of a vulture!
If you want to find a centipede, turn over every stone you see. They like to hide in dark, cool places. Of course, you might find a few other interesting things, too.
At night, centipedes, scorpions, and tarantulas come out from under rocks and logs to hunt. The passion vine caterpillar, like the centipede, has lots of legs and a secret weapon. They're pretty, they're colorful, and they're dangerous. Centipedes mean big trouble for a lot of tiny animals. Legs for crawling, legs for climbing, legs for sprinting, but legs to breathe with? The bite of most centipedes is no worse than a bee sting, and they eat household and garden pests.
If a wolf is following you, don't be too concerned. Wolves have never been known to attack humans. But you don't want to encourage one to come too close, either.
A dominant male and female lead the wolf pack. The wolf, like the domestic dog and other canines, has the teeth of a predator. Hello, or keep your distance, or I'm having fun. The howl of the wolf can be heard a long way off. A meal may last for days. Leaders eat first, and adults return to the den to feed the babies. Wolf pups learn by playing. After a few years, they leave to start their own packs. People thought wolves killed livestock, so the only ones left are in the northern parts of North America. The Tasmanian wolf, extinct now, was really a marsupial. The maned wolf, really a dog, may soon also disappear. For camouflage and warmth in the winter, wear a thick white coat, like the Arctic fox, a cousin of the wolf.
Vampire bats can carry disease, so don't let one suck on your neck. But unless you're sacked out among a herd of cattle in Central America, you don't need to worry.
They sleep in cool caves and empty buildings. To stay warm, they huddle close. Bats use their wings not only to fly, but to catch their dinner. The bat's clawed feet are good for crawling and for hanging upside down while sleeping. The wing of the bat is a marvelous creation. Blind as a bat? Not so this bat. No need for a road map. A bat reads echoes to learn what's nearby.
polar bears can run faster than you can, and they've been known to track their prey for days. Oh, but unless you're planning on exploring the Arctic alone, you'll never need to outrun a polar bear.
A polar bear waits for dinner to appear in a seal's air hole. Too close to civilization? Handouts and garbage aren't good for a bear. On the lookout for leftovers, the Arctic fox will trail after both wolves and polar bears. That wintry cold takes a little getting used to, even for baby polar bears. Fancy footwork is needed to navigate the ice floes, and the polar bear is up to it. What a swimmer! The polar bear can swim far and fast, and it's practically unsinkable. Wolf pups. The Tasmanian wolf, extinct now, was really
Don't stare at a grizzly. That's a challenge in bear language. Now, speak softly and back away. If it attacks and you don't faint of fright right away, play dead, and the bear may leave you alone.
Black bears and grizzlies live in the same neighborhoods. The black bear, which sometimes looks brown, doesn't have a hump. Grizzlies can grow from less than a pound to over 1,500 pounds, and in only 10 years or so. Grizzlies love fish, especially salmon. Face to face with a standing grizzly, back away slowly, or shout and wave your arms. As more and more people take over the land, there are fewer places for bears to live. And who's the biggest bear of all? Grizzlies easily outweigh polar bears and black bears. Cave paintings and fossilized bones tell us that giant bears lived in Europe hundreds of thousands of years ago.
Black widows bite only in self-defense, so if you see one, leave it alone. They like to make their webs across the seats in outdoor toilets. I suggest you look before you sit.
You'd bring a gift too. A female black widow, like some scorpions, may eat the male after mating. A bite from the black widow or the rattlesnake will hurt, but it's not likely to kill you. Some females are more deadly than the males. A female black widow is a much better mom than she is a mate. Spiders use silk thread produced within their own bodies to make their webs.
Tarantulas are big and hairy, and they may jump at you if you tease them, so they can be plenty scary, but they're really very nice spiders to have around.
How does a big, fearsome spider like a tarantula end up as baby food? Spiders eating mice? Lizards? Here's a spider with a really big appetite. Not all spiders hunt the same way. Some use tricks to lure their prey close. Spiders, including tarantulas, have beautifully designed fangs, don't you think? In spite of its reputation, the tarantula, which is any big and hairy spider, isn't really dangerous to humans. Not all spiders hunt.
To avoid attracting killer bees, or any bees for that matter, don't wear perfume, scented lotions, or sweet-smelling sunscreens. To a bee, you see, these smell like food.
Pollinate, pollinate. A bee's work is never done. Lucky that wasps, butterflies, and even bats help out. 3,000 years ago, the Egyptians domesticated bees. It's called the killer bee because it's more likely to sting than a regular honeybee, not because its venom is stronger. The bee evolved from the wasp 100 million years ago when it gave up hunting. Today, bees live on pollen and nectar. Bees have a lot of enemies all over the world. Look at the ways flowers attract bees and other animals.
Don't attempt to remove an inhabited wasp nest yourself unless you're completely protected from head to foot. Or, better yet, call a professional instead. Those wasps can get pretty testy, let me tell you.
The face of a wasp is a wondrous thing. The fearsome female wood wasp. That spike is no stinger, only a tool for drilling holes and laying eggs. The adult jewel wasp eats nectar, but baby wasps need meat to grow on before they become vegetarians. The adult jewel wasp eats nectar, but baby wasps need meat to grow on before they become vegetarians. Copycats. That bee fly is no bumblebee, the hoverfly no wasp, and the queen tree wasp doesn't sting. From the queen to the workers, the nest of the common wasp is a well-coordinated building project. Like people, many wasps love sweets. It's the tarantula hawk wasp 1, the spider 0. Her babies will now have plenty of food. A gall on a tree is home for gall wasp larvae, if they don't fall prey to the chalcid wasp.
If you see a cougar, now don't approach it. Remember that you're in its territory, you see, and it may treat you as badly as you would treat an intruder in your own home.
It lives in the snow and looks like a bobcat. Meet the lynx before they're all gone. Whatever you call it, the bobcat or the wildcat, it hunts at night, and there aren't many left. Cougars used to roam all over North America. Now they're found only in remote locations. The spots on a cougar cub are camouflage to help protect it while it's growing up. Here are two beautiful relatives of the cougar that prefer a warmer climate.
If you see a lot of logs floating in the water hole, don't dive in. Don't ever underestimate just how fast a croc can move. These guys can lunge.
It lives in Southeast Asia or Northern Australia. It's huge. It's a saltwater crocodile, and it's dangerous. Waterproof skin, high eyes and noses, powerful tails. Crocodilians are built for the water. Crocs and gators are perfectly suited for their watery life. The gavial, a crocodile relative from southern Asia, makes a scary noise, but its jaws aren't strong enough for fighting. Can you believe what crocodiles will eat? Because hunting them is now illegal in many places, crocodilians are sometimes raised on ranches. Crocodilians live all over the world.
Don't walk barefoot in muddy ponds. Oh no, a snapper might mistake one of your toes for a fish. It's not really a good idea to wade anywhere you can't see the bottom. Who knows what might be down there?
Shells? Many sizes, many shapes. It all depends on where you live if you're a turtle. The big-headed turtle can easily live up to its name. It can't pull its head inside its shell. 200 million years, and turtles haven't changed much, except we don't have any as big as the huge archelon. Is a tortoise the same as a turtle? Is a turtle the same as a terrapin? Here's the turtle. But what's the mystery underneath that shell? It's hard to hide inside your shell when your head's too big to fit, so it might be wiser to attack.
Some people think that alligators, not to mention ninja turtles, live in sewers. But don't listen to them. You're much more likely to run into an alligator in a swamp or in the water hazard on a Florida golf course. Just don't get too close to a gator and you'll both be okay.
Reptiles all, these creatures have backbones, scaly skin, and blood that isn't always warm. Other creatures have alligator names, but the Chinese alligator is a true relative of our American alligator. Baby crocodilians receive tender care from their moms. Other adults keep an eye on them too. Croc or gator, it's hard to tell the difference. In either case, keep your distance. Don't fall for this reptile smile. Don't fall for this reptile smile. Tales of Chinese dragons. Were they inspired by dinosaur bones or by the lizards that are still around today? Alligators live in North America and China, and their cousins, the caimans, in Central and South America.
When a rattlesnake rattles, that means you're too close. Back off. Yes. Oh, heed the snake's warning, and you'll part company without getting bitten. Personally, I wish all snakes were as thoughtful as rattlers.
To each his own. King snakes from Mexico and California find the rattlesnake a tasty meal. Just imagine 1,000 rattlesnakes all curled up for a long winter's hibernation. It's hard to tell which snakes are venomous, especially when they look so much alike. The rattlesnake has long, slender organs for its long, slender body. With a mouth that can stretch wide and specialized fangs for pumping venom, the rattlesnake is well equipped. That buzzing noise is meant as a warning, so if you hear it out on the trail, look out for a rattlesnake. Ever find a whole snake skin? A snake grows out of its skin and leaves it behind. A lizard leaves behind pieces.
Most Gila monster bites have occurred when the Gila monster was being abused. These lizards are not known for their sense of humor. No, so don't tease a Gila.
The hot desert sand and a lack of water and hiding places call for special techniques. Rattlesnakes, female jewel wasps, and scorpions make the desert a tough place to live. The sandfish has all the equipment necessary for living in the desert. Besides the Gila monster, the only other venomous lizard is the beaded lizard. The colors yellow and black often signal that an animal carries venom. Gila monsters chew venom into their victims and render them helpless.
If you see a jaguar, count yourself lucky. Oh, most people will never get a look at this beautiful cat. In tropical rainforests, be sure to look up as well as all around. You may see a jaguar on the branch above you.
Jaguars like variety in their meals. Here are a few possible menu items. They climb, they jump, they leap. Jaguars are all-round great hunters. Big, mysterious cats like jaguars have inspired awe in many cultures through the years. A good job of camouflage mimics the surroundings. A motionless jaguar is almost invisible. They roam the same Central American neighborhood, but an ocelot will always back away from the bigger jaguar. A good job of camouflage mimics the surroundings. A motionless jaguar is almost invisible. Jaguars, leopards, ocelots, and cheetahs. Spots and more spots. But all the spots are different. They roam the same Central American neighborhood, but an ocelot will always back away from the bigger jaguar.
A man-o'-war's tentacles can sting long after the creature is dead, so don't touch any part of a man-o'-war that you find on a beach.
Slimy mucus protects the sea cucumber and the little fish that live with the man-o'-war. It starts off with a single polyp and ends up as a colony of thousands of polyps and a gas-filled sail. Meet the man-o'-war. Clownfish and sea anemones have an unusual relationship. They're closely related, but the jellyfish is a single creature, the man-o'-war an entire colony. One sting, a paralyzed victim. The man-o'-war and relatives like the sea anemone are well armed.
If you see a shark fin surface near you as you're swimming, don't start thrashing around. Just swim steadily toward the beach, repeating, "Jaws was just a movie. Jaws was just a movie."
When you eat fish and chips, you may be eating a type of shark. Sharks provide other types of food too. Clever and careful, The great white shark closes in on prey with a spiraling pattern. A chainmail suit protects a diver against a shark's bite, but not from bruises or broken bones. "20,000 teeth in one lifetime? The shark is a tooth factory, with rows of replacement teeth at the ready. Caging people for a change. That way sharks and people can both get a good look at each other.
There's no proven rule for judging when a hammerhead might attack. Until we know more about these odd-looking creatures, don't go swimming with them.
It may be big, but the whale shark is a gentle giant. It eats only plankton. The carpet shark, like the hammerhead, is weird looking. Why the patterns and tassels? Camouflage, of course. If you think a hammerhead looks strange, check out the headgear on these fish. Small sharks, like the horn shark, use camouflage to hide from predators, which can include big sharks. The angel shark looks like a ray, but it's a shark. How can you tell if a fish is really a shark?
Killer whales, orcas, rarely attack people. So unless you spend a lot of time swimming with salmon, penguins, or seals, you're safe.
Here's an idea of what squids had to avoid during prehistoric times. What a way for a killer whale to send a message. It's called breaching. Here's what might be served on an orca's seafood platter. Orcas lurk in the water. They sometimes even lunge onto the land to get their prey. The orca is actually a dolphin. The orca is actually a dolphin. As many as 50 orcas live in one pod. They travel and hunt together, bound together for life.
Don't walk on ocean bottoms that you can't see. Stingrays like to bury themselves in the sand. And don't touch a stingray washed up on the beach. It may still be alive and dangerous.
Although it's not a stingray, the thornback ray has features typical of most rays, and you don't want to step on it. Underwater spaceship? No, a manta ray. The torpedo ray is a stunner that can kill its prey without ever touching it. Unlucky rays can drown in fishermen's nets and end up as food for scavengers. The sawfish, a cousin of the rays, has an unusual weapon for rooting out prey: its nose. Only a third of all rays, the stingrays, are a threat, and then only if they're grabbed or stepped on. To humans, the color red means danger. In the ocean, it's the color blue.
Don't wear shiny jewelry when you're in the water. It may look great to other swimmers, but to a barracuda, a flash of metal looks like a swimming fish, and you know what barracudas do to fish.
Don't bite any of these animals. The barracuda, the hammerhead shark, and the moray eel often have poisonous flesh. Divers avoid barracudas, but they also try to stay away from sea snakes, white sharks, and fire coral. What knife-like teeth! The teeth of all animals are well suited to the food they eat. A diver can attract an interested barracuda. What to do? Hold very, very still. Divers avoid barracudas, but they also try to stay away from sea snakes, white sharks, and fire coral.
Do you plan to prowl through mangrove swamps in Indonesia? No? Well, then you're safe from the mangrove snake.
What strange animals you'll find in the mangrove forests of Southeast Asia. How can you tell snakes and legless lizards apart? Look for eyelids. Rear-fanged snakes, the colubrids, either have very weak venom or none at all. Does it look like a branch, a vine? Better be sure before you grab it. At home in the salty mangrove swamp, the tiger and the crocodile and a crabby-looking spider.
When you're in cobra country, don't sleepwalk. Oh no, these snakes hunt at night, often around human dwellings.
What do cobras and cane toads have in common? Venom. The cobra, like the Australian frilled lizard, uses a trick to scare away enemies. Snakes have to be on guard against birds and other snakes. A baby snake can be dangerous too. A tiny cobra is just as venomous as an adult. People milk venom from some snakes to make anti-venin for counteracting snake bites.
A big python could hold you down by just laying on top of you. They can weigh several hundred pounds. So don't invite a python to a pajama party.
Colorful, yes, but in the branches of a tree, prey may fail to see the green tree python. Gotcha! The big boa and the little Mexican milk snake. Call them both constrictors, snakes that take your breath away. What manners! But chewing your food is not important at the boa's dinner table. Longest snake? Probably a reticulated python. The heaviest? Probably the anaconda. A snake is almost all backbone and ribs. Pythons and boas see with heat-detecting pits in their head, and smell and taste with forked tongues. Mother pythons care for their eggs, but after they hatch, the little ones are on their own.
If you're bitten or even just scratched by a Komodo dragon, get to a doctor immediately. The bacteria that lives in this giant lizard's mouth could kill an elephant.
The ancestors of the Komodo dragon and the tuatara lived with the dinosaurs. Monitor lizards, like the Komodo dragon, live in trees, in water, on the ground, even underground. Komodo dragons are meat eaters. They even prey on each other, so at mealtime, the small ones are very polite. None of these animals are venomous, but if one bites you, it could make you sick. They resemble lizards, these amphibians and crocodilians, so you have to guess which one is the real thing.
If you see anything that looks like a snake underwater, swim in the opposite direction. If you are bitten by a sea snake, you may not be able to get to a hospital in time to save your life. This is a serious snake.
They both have skinny, flexible bodies, but the eel is not related to the sea snake. Small fish and eels beware. The venom of the sea snake works fast. Sea snakes often hide in holes. Keep that in mind if you're out diving in coral reefs. Like the sea snake, which has a flattened tail for swimming underwater, other animals have handy tails too. Sea snakes come in just about every color and pattern imaginable. Nice relatives. The sea snake counts the cobra, the coral snake, the mamba, and the krait as family. They're snakes, not fish, and sea snakes come up to breathe. Where? In the Indian and Pacific Oceans.
tigers don't like to attack prey that's looking at them, you see. So if you must go for a hike in tiger country, wear a mask on the back of your head. Well, you may feel silly, but the eyes on the mask might keep a tiger from sneaking up behind you.
A tiger's coat blends into tall grass and brush. What better way to sneak up on prey? Unlike lions, tigers prefer to fend for themselves and live alone. Tigers love the water. They can drink and cool off and catch their dinner. Tiger cubs are born completely dependent on their mother, just like baby kittens. Mama tiger looks after the babies for about 2 years. Dad, meanwhile, is off on his own. No pussycat here. The tiger hunts with incredible speed and strength.
Don't try to make a porcupine fish into a pet. It won't, thank you. And don't try to eat a puffer fish either. That meal could be your last.
Looks aren't everything. These bony fish, like the porcupine fish, can take care of themselves. The porcupine fish isn't the only prickly creature. Ever since the dinosaurs, spikes have protected animals. Suck in water and make yourself hard to eat, but swimming can be difficult. Spikes are worn by many underwater creatures, even starfish. A plate full of pufferfish might be a delicacy, or it might just be your last meal. Suck in water and make yourself hard to eat, but swimming can be difficult.
A rhino has poor eyesight, you see, so stay downwind and move slowly and quietly around rhinos. Now, if you don't know which direction is downwind, well, you'd better stay home.
The magnificent rhinoceros horn. It has cost many rhinos their lives. White rhinos aren't white. Then where did they get their name? A rhino will challenge another male with a stare. If that doesn't work, its horn can do a lot of damage. They don't hunt for prey, but rhinos and other African herbivores, like elephants and Cape buffaloes, can still be dangerous. Once rhinos roamed Asia. Now they're almost gone. Rolling in the mud or dust may keep the mites off, or it may just feel good. Whichever, rhinos love to do it. Rolling in the mud or dust may keep the mites off, or it may just feel good. Whichever, rhinos love to do it.
Leopards are mostly active at night, so unless you're out in the bush after dark, you're not likely to meet one. You might hear one, though, without even realizing it. Their calls sound like someone sawing wood.
High in the trees, that's where leopards hide, look around, sleep, and stash their meals. Leopards move as freely in a tree as they do on the ground. The leopard, like most big cats, is a loner. It hunts alone, and except for mothers with cubs, lives alone. Its beautiful coat of fur has nearly cost this leopard its existence. The snow leopard is on the endangered list. The black panther is really a leopard, and if you look closely, you can still see its spots. A big spotted cat in Africa, it's a leopard. In South America, it's a jaguar.
Don't walk barefoot in tropical seas where you can't clearly see the bottom. You may kick a lionfish or step on something even worse.
Lots of names in the branches of this family. A lionfish can be a zebrafish, can be a scorpionfish. The stonefish may look like a lump of coral, but it's the most dangerous kind of scorpionfish. The lionfish hides a venomous spine in each delicate ray. It's beautiful, and it can be deadly. It may be gorgeous, but it scares off predators with a sharp dorsal spine and a nasty taste and smell. Be careful of hidden spines in the ocean floor. The lionfish isn't alone when it comes to sharp, nasty surprises. Meet the John Dory and the surgeonfish.
Don't lay awake at night worrying about army ants. They have pretty short legs and you can easily outrun them. If they march into your house, take a vacation for a few days and take your pets with you.
Ants, bees, and wasps all belong to a group called Hymenoptera. Groups of ants, called colonies, share work and food. Ants have good reason to fear anteaters, their sharp claws and long, sticky tongues. Thousands of army ants carry their queen in a living nest made of their own bodies, even bridging water. Some insects live in colonies ruled by a queen. Other females are workers and will never lay eggs. Many insects, like wasps and termites, build elaborate nests.
When hiking across Africa, look out for warthog burrows in the ground and steer clear. A warthog may be at home and you're not invited in.
Know what a peccary is? What it isn't is a pig. The warthog has tusks, but this Asian wild pig, the babirusa, has teeth that grow right through its snout. It looks like a pig, but this endangered animal is actually related to the horse. Wild boars and the pigs you find on a farm are relatives. Teeth come in all sizes and shapes, and some never stop growing. In Africa, the warthog is always on the watch for big predators, like lions and leopards. Wild pigs like the warthog, the wild boar, and the African bush pig have been hunted for centuries.
Threatened elephants spread out their ears shortly before they charge. Now, that's your signal to back off. You see, when they're really serious, they fold back their ears and run straight for you. Now, actually, I'd suggest that you retreat if an elephant is even looking intently at you.
An elephant has relatives, but there's very little family resemblance. The oldest female leads her group of females and babies. The males usually drift from family to family. For centuries, people have captured and trained elephants to do their heavy work. Elephants take between 10 and 15 years to grow up. When they do, the females stay with the group, but the males leave. So many elephants were killed for the ivory in their tusks that hunters now have to get special licenses. All elephants have tusks, which are really special teeth, but some tusks are much bigger than others. Grabbing something? An African elephant uses the lips at the end of its trunk. An Indian elephant rolls its trunk around the object. The elephant's foot is something like ours, except that it's standing on big, flat, shock-absorbing toes.
These aren't tame cattle. Cape buffaloes have killed people. When you're on safari, stay in the vehicle.
Sharp horns and hooves scare predators away from the Cape buffalo. Hunted for food and for sport, these animals barely escaped extinction. Bulls fight to protect their territory. That's part of nature. But people make bulls fight for entertainment. Asian buffaloes love the water. That's why they're called water buffaloes. Some very different animals can live together quite well. The front legs and hooves of the Cape buffalo are very strong. They have to be, to carry all that weight.
Hippos spend most of their day sleeping or resting in water. Look for ears and nostrils at the surface before paddling into an area. If you see any, keep your distance. Hippos will charge, and they aren't slowpokes.
Hippos spend a lot of time underwater, even giving birth to their babies there. You can see a lot of animals at the waterhole, but you'd better keep your distance. Look at that mouth, those teeth. Hippos are some of the most dangerous animals in Africa. Finding enough to eat can be a challenge for these huge herbivores. Hippos in a waterhole are like the tip of an iceberg. There may be dozens more hidden beneath the water's surface. Hippos usually come out at night to graze, staying close to the water. Mothers guard their babies ferociously.
Within a pride, lions are used to fighting and wrestling with each other, even the cubs. So don't tease a lion cub. It may come after you with its claws out.
Unlike other cats, lions are social. They live in groups called prides. Cats see in the dark, but why do their eyes glow? In the lion family, Mom hunts, but Dad's the boss. One zebra a week keeps a lion happy, but the hunting doesn't always go that well. In the African savanna, the lioness is the queen of the hunters.
Unless you look like an antelope, you're not in danger from a cheetah. And it's a good thing. You couldn't beat a cheetah in a foot race anyway.
The mother cheetah will spend more than a year teaching her babies how to survive. The cheetah has dog-like claws and paws, and can't retract its claws as most cats can. In fact, cheetah means dog-cat. Cheetahs are champion runners, but their bodies really aren't made for fighting. Young cheetahs practice their hunting skills while playing with each other. The serval and the caracal live in the African savanna. Cheetahs are fast, but some other animals are faster than you might think.
If a black mamba challenges you, freeze and stay perfectly still until it's long gone. Yes, but then unless you're hiking through the bush in Africa, you're not likely to run into this snake.
Mambas have fixed front fangs, like cobras, coral snakes, and sea snakes. The black mamba is not the only tree-climbing snake. The emerald boa lives in South America. A venomous snake like the black mamba has few enemies. The secretary bird is one of them. A neighbor of the black mamba, the African egg-eating snake, spits out the eggshell after it dines.
If a baboon grins at you, it's not amused, it's angry. Back away slowly. If you turn your back on one, you may get a nasty bite in the posterior. Oh, believe me, I know.
Scientists believe that humans are related to apes and monkeys. Just compare these skulls and you'll see why. The male mandrill, a relative of the baboon and the largest of all monkeys, has a brightly colored face. Young monkeys, apes, and humans learn skills through play. In the African savanna, baboons forage for food on the ground, but sleep in trees for safety. A baby baboon stays close to mom. When grown, females stay with the troop, but many males leave to find a new group. Grooming is a sociable activity for baboons, and it keeps the fur clean.
During the day, hyenas are usually seen skulking around a kill, waiting for their turn to eat. But after dark, hyenas turn into skillful hunters. So if you hear a hyena laughing in the dark, don't try to join the party.
A clan of spotted hyenas lives in a central den. Females rule here. A pack of hyenas would gladly grab one of these. A lion will steal a hyena's meal if it can. Hyenas look an awful lot like dogs, but they're not even related. Ah, the life of a scavenger. Hyenas take any free meat they can get.
If you're hiking across the African plains and a bunch of Cape hunting dogs runs up to you, well, they're probably lost. Just direct them to the nearest herd of zebras.
When we think of dogs, we don't usually think of these wild animals. Strong jaws, sharp pointed teeth, long legs. This is the skeleton of a canine hunter. The savannah can be a dangerous place if you're one of these animals. Cape hunting dogs need to watch out for these other competitors.
Don't even think about touching a brilliantly colored tree frog. It's likely to be highly toxic. Just admire the bright colors from afar. I always use binoculars myself. Yes, can't be too careful.
Why, of course frogs have ears. They just prefer to keep them out of sight. Who can tell poison arrow frogs or mantellas apart? Even experts have trouble. Frogs, like these two for example, are very sophisticated creatures underwater. Frogs in bogs, frogs in ponds, frogs in swamps. But frogs in trees? Another brightly colored amphibian lives in the rainforest of Central America. Frogs that look like ducks, or maybe more like pieces of bark. Poison arrow frogs watch over their babies until they mature, and their own poisonous protection takes over. We can learn a lot from animals, like when things might be going really wrong. Tiny, pretty, and deadly. Watch out for the bright yellow frog and the blue-ringed octopus.
Harpy eagles can swoop down on a monkey at 50 miles per hour. But you're safe, as long as you don't wear a monkey suit and swing from trees in the rainforest.
An eagle's incredible long-distance vision zeroes in on even the smallest animals. Owls do most of their hunting at night. The sloth and the spider monkey have to guard against the harpy eagle. It can swoop down at 50 miles per hour. The eagle is a raptor, or a bird of prey, as is the osprey. Just look at those wings. Hawks and eagles are powerful hunters.
Swallowing one of these is like taking a cyanide capsule. If you really must taste a caterpillar or a butterfly, eat a different one. But better yet, don't eat one at all.
Passion flower leaves, poisonous to most, are a gourmet meal to this caterpillar. Scary tricks from the puss moth caterpillar. It has a few surprises up its sleeve. Disguise yourself as a flower like the crab spider and the praying mantis do, and you'll catch yourself a meal. The passion vine caterpillar isn't the only creature that wears spikes for protection. Passion vine butterflies come in many different colors and patterns. Magic. Butterflies and moths go from eggs to caterpillars to chrysalises to winged glory. Unlike most butterflies, the passion vine butterfly isn't good to eat. The passion vine caterpillar has neighbors in the tropical rainforest, tiger centipedes and curly-haired tarantulas.
Boas aren't venomous, but they can bite, and they have sharp teeth. Don't move your hand quickly in front of a boa's head, or it may mistake your hand for prey. And don't ever let a boa give you a hug.
Clever camouflage. The emerald tree boa can hide from the harpy eagle and sneak up on a nice opossum dinner. Elastic jaws. You can see why rats go out of their way to avoid a boa constrictor. The anaconda, a type of water boa, can grow to be a giant. Camouflage for the growing emerald boa. Red at first for the low bushes. Emerald green by tree time. These interesting reptiles live on South Pacific islands. Similar lifestyles, different continents. The green tree python and the emerald boa.
Piranhas are more likely to attack when water levels are really low and they are concentrated into small areas. So don't go wading in small pools in South America during the dry season, okay?
A lone barracuda is actually more of a threat than an entire school of them. Piranha's teeth are designed to slice off just one bite. A barracuda's teeth snag the whole victim. Even with their eyes closed, fish can sense what's going on around them. A rainforest is a beautiful place, but you've got to watch your step.
You wouldn't stick your finger into an electrical socket, would you? So stay away from an electric eel. These creatures can send 600 volts your way. If the shock doesn't kill you, it'll sure make your hair stand on end.
Here's a cat you don't want to cuddle up with. Eels come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. The electric ray, related to the shark, stuns its prey with 200 volts of electricity. Baby eels don't need a map to find their way through hundreds of miles of ocean. Radar and an organ that stuns with a 550-volt blast? The electric eel is shocking.
If you see a jaguar, count yourself lucky. Oh, most people will never get a look at this beautiful cat. In tropical rainforests, be sure to look up as well as all around. You may see a jaguar on the branch above you.
Jaguars like variety in their meals. Here are a few possible menu items. They climb, they jump, they leap. Jaguars are all-round great hunters.
Don't pet a platypus, unless you know it's a female. You see, the males have sharp, venomous spikes on their back legs. Well, actually, the females probably wouldn't appreciate being handled either.
The Australian mainland, Tasmania, and New Guinea are home to some mighty odd animals. The platypus hunts for its meals underwater. Now that you've seen it from the outside, let's see what's inside. No huge fangs, no scary claws. So what's dangerous about a platypus? Both have webbed feet and a bill, but the platypus is a mammal. The duck's a bird. A platypus has only one other relative that lays eggs, the echidna.
In Australia, don't get too friendly with any spider, or snake, or reptile, or amphibian. Australia is home to a lot of amazing animals, and many of them are venomous.
Their venom is deadly. Thank goodness there's an antidote. Oh, those fangs. But how and when they're used are what's important. Having lots of eyes doesn't mean great eyesight, at least for most spiders. Here's a spider with a clever way to trap its dinner.
In Australia, some lifeguards wear pantyhose to protect against jellyfish stings. Well, it's better to look silly than to have to call an ambulance, but the safest practice is when sea wasps come floating in, swimmers come running out.
Lookalikes? The Australian sea wasp is a single jellyfish. The man-o-war more of a community. Diving in Australian waters? Watch out! The sea wasp has hard-to-see tentacles and deadly venom. Meet the anemone, a close relative of jellyfish like the Australian sea wasp. Jellyfish even live in the icy Arctic Ocean, but they're not alone. Like jellyfish, anemones sting their prey.
A blue ring is only about the size of my hand. If you were that tiny, you'd bite any giant that grabbed you too. So look at a blue-ringed octopus, but don't touch it.
Blue spots or stripes really show up in the water and may be a warning. This creature is venomous. The amazing octopus can hide in a narrow crack or crevice and jet around by shooting water through its body. A cloud of ink, a change of colors, and the octopus is hidden from a hungry eel or shark. The female octopus keeps a close watch over its eggs, but when the babies hatch, they're on their own. Like the octopus, these creatures are mollusks. Octopi arms are good for many things: swimming, walking on rocks, prying open prey, and parachuting. The female octopus keeps a close watch over its eggs, but when the babies hatch, they're on their own.
Do not hug, kiss, or lick this toad. Its venom could make you very sick. And by the way, that advice goes for any toad.
Toads eat everything, but they taste so bad that few animals eat them. Most amphibians eat anything they can catch, even each other. Amphibians, like this toad, are especially sensitive to pollution because they absorb gases and liquids through their skin. A toad is pretty slow-moving, but what a fast tongue! Tadpoles have to be on the lookout from the minute they're born. A few lucky amphibians have protective parents. Frogs, slim and smooth, have long back legs. Toads, bulky and bumpy, have short legs. Toads try to scare away predators by puffing themselves up. The Chilean four-eyed frog even pops up extra eyes. Amphibians, like frogs and toads, start life in the water and then go through many changes.
The Tasmanian devil's vicious temper exists only in cartoons. They really are very shy creatures that snarl and growl only when threatened. Yes, but if someone backed me into a corner, I suppose I'd get pretty feisty too.
Primitive and unusual animals, like marsupials and monotremes, live in both Australia and New Guinea. Australia is home to many dangerous animals, but most are no threat to humans. Wiped off the face of the earth, the Tasmanian wolf, a relative of the Tasmanian devil. You don't have to be big to be fierce. Here's a sampling of some feisty little carnivores. Tasmania and Australia were once connected. That's why they have so many animals in common.
If you're ever unlucky enough to have a moray bite you, experts say you should grin and bear the pain. The eel will eventually let go and swim away. Then you can do the same.
Eels generally dine on small fish, mollusks, and crustaceans. In some places, the eel itself may be on the menu. If you're diving in eel country, don't stick your hand down that hole. A waiting eel may think it's a fish. The eel only bites if it's threatened, or mistakes some part of a person for its usual food. Deep in the dark water, these weird eels use glowing lures and cavernous mouths to catch their prey. Moray eels come in colors and patterns. The ribbon eel, famed for its beauty, is a favorite of aquarium owners.